I'm Judy Shaw for NYSE Floor Talk. Joining me today is Eric Thayer. He is CFO at Controlled Thermal Resources. Eric, wonderful to have you here. Thanks for joining me
Thank
today.
you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, pleasure to have you seated across from me, and I'm looking forward to chatting, but before we do that, just a quick note to our viewers. This interview is for informational purposes only. The NYSE doesn't recommend any investments or investment strategies. All right, so Eric, tell me about CTR and what you're doing in California.
Well, Controlled Thermal Resources has a long history, actually, even though we are pre-revenue. We started in Australia back in 2013. Our CEO, Rod Caldwell, came to the US looking to develop renewable power. But as the market evolved, we pivoted, and now we are developing integrated lithium extraction and renewable power plants in Southern California.
Okay. All right, so tell me, where have you seen investment choke points in building up this emerging US battery supply chain, and how will the Inflation Reduction Act help?
So, as you know, energy transition is relatively new for us in the US, and some of the biggest choke points are with the financial institutions, quite honestly, because there's an educational component to it. They need to understand what our process is, how we plan to de-risk the company, and ultimately be willing to provide us capital. The Inflation Reduction Act has helped significantly. It has definitely opened the doors for a lot of investors to come in and see some return on their investment almost immediately. We are certainly planning on utilizing it in our process as far as fundraising goes, and we think we will bring in a number of investors as a result of the IRA that maybe wouldn't have considered us as early.
All right, so Eric, tell me, what's next for the company? What are you most focused on?
Well, we're continuously fundraising right now. As I mentioned, we're pre-revenue, looking to break ground on our first plants yet this year. But by the time we are up and running, we will be producing 300,000 tons per year of lithium in the U.S. market. So myself, my colleagues, our board, we are constantly raising. We hope to utilize the New York Stock Exchange or some other mechanism eventually to become a public company. We think that is part of our equity raise strategy.
All right. Well, Eric, wonderful to have you here. Thanks for joining me on Floor Talk today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.